Thank you. Today we are going to talk about TV from Israel, because in recent years the Israeli TV business has gotten a lot of attention. It has been fronted in the States by profiled remakes of Israeli drama. Series such as Homeland and In Treatment has been big global success. And both of them are based on original Israeli drama. And at the moment, there are dozens of original Israeli TV programs being developed as remakes and formats around the world. With me today to talk about this, I have two of the most experienced people from the Israeli TV business. We have Karni from Keshet Media Group. She is head of drama and comedy there. And we have writer and producer Reshef Levi, who, here they are. Welcome on stage.
Oh, hello.
Reshef is recently got 7 nominations for what we call the Israeli Oscars for your movie Hunting Elephants, which now has been sold as a remake.
Yes, first of all, we didn't win any of the Oscars, so it was shit. And we only got nominees, which is a bad thing. You come and you don't get anything, and it's humiliating.
And free champagne, then? Maybe.
No champagne in Israel. No champagne. It's but now we are remaking the movie. We're doing it in the U.S. And the big American company Millennium bought the movie, and I had in my contract that they can't sell the movie if I'm not the director. So I'm going to be the director of the movie in America.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Just to get in the right mood here, we're going to show a show reel of some productions from Keshet Media Group, which Karni is, where she's head of comedy and drama. And this show reel it's a lot of productions from your company.
A lot of dramas, comedies, and formats of reality shows and game shows that succeeded to, there were very great success in Israel, and we succeeded to sell them abroad, in the States or other countries too. Yeah.
Excellent. Let's have a look at the clip.
Okay.
It's happening.
Are you ready?
An American hero is coming home. Snishana!
Ne quittez pas moi.
Cheers.
L'chaim!
L'chaim!
Three single girls are all ready to find true love.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, bet!
I'm a lucky man.
You people ready?
That's quite an impressive
Just
show
a
reel.
minute. I have to say, Karni brought her clip, and I brought my stuff also. But you don't have in Norway a DVD. But I have a lot of DVDs of my stuff, really. And so I want to describe to you, please. This is a show that I've made. And I would show you a great scene, very funny, with everybody nude. This is a movie, the one that I saw.
Yeah, hunting elephants.
Hunting elephants, yes.
It's the guy from Star Trek.
It's the guy from Star Trek. Patrick Stewart was in the movie. He's a great guy, the bald guy from Star Trek. When he came the first day, he said that he wants to be. He came to I met him the first time in the hotel, and he said we talked about his clothing in the movie, and he said that he wants to have one suit. All the movie, and I told him, this is not Star Trek, man. You'll have change. You have to change because he got used from Star Trek to wearing those tights. So, and this is another movie of mine, but you don't have DVDs. You have oil and a lot of money, but you don't have DVDs.
But they look really, really funny. It looks really funny.
It's
They
great.
are.
It's
Hilarious.
funny. It's
They're
smart.
great.
It's brilliant. This clip is
just
nothing compared to my
$9.99
stuff.
after the
It's
session.
nothing. But let's talk about the clip. Karni's clip.
But how did Israeli TV become such a force in the global TV world?
Do you want to answer that? Because I have a rude answer. Do you want
Okay.
to start?
Start with your rude answer, and then...
We have big success in America because we're Jewish. And in America, the Jews control the media, as you know.
He's not laughing.
Yes, and we also invented abortions and communism, but this was a big failure. But we thought it was a good idea there. So I'm really not funny because it's not funny because really when you come to America in LA, everybody are Jewish. Everybody are Jews. So it helps a lot because you have the kind of you look at me like, oh, they were right. Do you have horns? Yes, we have horns, and so it's very helpful. And the title is Why We Are So Successful. Karni, you look at me as if it's astonished. No. If you tell back at home what I did now, I kill you. No, I'm just kidding. You're Norwegian people. I know what's your problem. Really. It's the second time that I'm here. You're very kind. You're very lovely. The women are very beautiful. The men are drunk. Really, and you're very kind. But they came here, and every night they took us out to a party. And we were dancing, and everybody was drinking all the time. I think you have a problem. You're drinking too much. I want to see your livers, really, because where can you find the time to make shows if you drink all the time? I don't want to be. Think about it. You're having fun, dancing. That's great. But we are miserable. We think all the time. We hate each other, and we think, how can I do a good show and beat the others? And you're hugging all the time. What are you, bears? I don't understand that. It's like. So now you give
I think part of it was we were lucky in some of our shows, and but I think that especially America now, the broadcasters and the cables are more open, I think, to unique stories, to other stories than the method and the themes that they know. I think the world is becoming closer. And good stories can move from Norway or Israel or Sweden or Denmark, as we saw in the last years, to other audience. And I think that we learned that most of our series are very Israeli series. But underneath, there is something that is common in these shows that can talk and move and make people laugh all over the world. If you find that core, that thing, that tone of the show, that thing can, I think, move from country to country. I think Homeland is a good example. The story in Israel is about prisoners of war that are coming, 3 prisoners of war that are coming back after, I think, 18 or 16 years, a lot of time. It was a huge success in Israel. It was the right time for this discussion because we had a prisoner in war, Gilad Shalit, in that time, and we still have one that is missing in action. So was a strong, sensitive subject to talk about. And I think I think the Americans understood that this is a great theme and subject to talk about, but they took it to another place. In Homeland, it's a thriller. It's a thriller, I think, about America against global terrorism. And in Israel, it's more dramatic, sensitive
It's almost
story.
a family drama.
Yeah, almost. The first season, I think it's a drama, really, a family drama.
The two shows are so different that you don't understand what the American bought, really. It's like they bought your ink, the ink that you...
No, but I think
It's
they bought
different.
the very good idea of
Do you have
someone...
Americans here? Do we have in the audience any Americans? Please raise your hands if you're an American.
No,
Okay. Oh,
no
one American.
American.
Shit, I wanted to say something bad about Americans. Not you, but most Americans are idiots. Sorry to say that. She's laughing because it's
No,
right.
we're
I know.
trying to sell Americans, and we're trying to sell HBO, and she's from HBO.
She's HBO. I'm so
Yes.
sorry. You look so great. Americans are so smart.
She's producing
You look
Girls
smart from here.
and The Sopranos.
You produce The Sopranos. It's funny. I've written this show is a mafia story that I've written. Really. And I sold it to the American. I stole The Sopranos and sold it back to you. You see, I'm a crook. No, but the reason, what happened, it was like that. There was this one guy, Haggai Levi, who he wrote, they asked him to make the cheapest shows ever. They said, we don't have a budget, let's make a show. So he made a show about two people that are speaking in one room. We don't have big budgets.
This is In Treatment.
Yeah, In Treatment.
And everybody thought that it's going to be bad. Everybody. The people who produced the show, the actors said nobody's going to watch that. But it was a big success. So he went there, he met a guy, he met an Israeli actress, gave it to this guy, and they made a show in America. The minute this guy made a show in America, everybody in our industry was like, I have to sell a show. It's no way this guy sold a show and we won't sell
We are
our
very
show. He's an
competitive
idiot. This is
people.
the way Israel is thinking. He has no talent. How come his show was sold and not mine?
Yeah.
So everybody went to America. Now, the Americans, they are afraid because in their industry, if you're making a show and it's not good, they fire you and they hunt your kids down. This is a thing. They kill you. You know, in HBO, they will kill you. They will hunt. They will send the squads and they will catch your kids. They will do awful things to you. So everybody is so afraid. So they have to buy a book or buy something that had success, met success in some other place. So they buy everything. The minute one show in Israel was successful, the American came and they bought everything. They bought bad shows that weren't successful in Israel even. They bought them and said, we'll fix that and make it a show. So it's like a trend. But I think that the basic thing about Israel is that we are, in our culture, we are raised, we call ourselves the people of the book, the Bible. And we are raised about stories. You know, every holiday in Israel is a story. Usually with the same story. People try to kill us and we survive. This is our story.
And we
Every
eat,
holiday.
and then we eat.
Yeah, because you're laughing, you're also Jewish. Everybody from HBO is Jewish. I was right about that. Mazel tov, l'chaim, you know that. She's like laughing because every holiday. So we are very good in stories that people are trying to hunt us down. This is what we do when we tell our children when they are 3, horrible stories. And they're crying and say, this is our story. It will happen to you too. This is what we do. So this is why Jews also have jobs that you can keep on the run, you know? You know, always Jews will play the violin. They will never play the piano because you can't, when the Cossacks come to kill you, you can't escape with the piano. You have to escape with the violin.
Small violin.
So everybody's our writers, you know, you can write everywhere.
Can you let him ask the question?
Sorry. No, when you spoke, it was okay. When I'm speaking, it's like you're too long. Come on.
You don't need questions.
No, hit me with a question. Something
Okay.
personal.
Something personal.
Sex life, come on. Talk about my sex life. Let's do it.
Now I'm thinking about your sex
We
life.
lost you.
Well,
now.
I found a quote from the Homeland creator, Gideon Raff.
Yeah.
He said that in Israel, a little bit about what you were talking about, not your sex life.
But he's talking about all the time. I'm going to sue him.
He says, I hear executives talk about development in a different way now. I even hear writers saying it. People will say, yes, it's good, but can it sell to the States? So how does the success influence your TV business? How you think about, do you still think about creating shows for your local market? Or like when you start writing a show, do you automatically think about selling it to
now
HBO?
Creators have a great appetite to try and sell. Yes, it's in our mind. But in my business, because I need a good drama or a good comedy for our show at 10 o'clock at night in the main prime time, and we need to do money, and it's our business. So most of the time, we think about Israel and Israeli stories and Israel characters. And most of the time, we say to the writers that are the most important persons in the room when we're creating, think local, and then we will think global. So I think it's right for 90% of what we're doing, but I need to admit that in the last 2 years, we are trying to find new models. Like now we're doing a show with USA Cables Network named Dig. Gidon Raf is writing. Yeah, we're co-producing. It won't go to Israel at all. It was an Israeli idea that our CEO had. He spoke with Gidi. Gidi went and wrote a script with Tim Kring. We pitched it, and we're starting to shoot it on June. It won't go to Israel primetime at all because it's an English speaker series, but it's less than 10% of the series that we're thinking just abroad. Most of the time we're thinking, what is the Israeli story? What is a good character in this Israeli story? And we hope that outside, abroad, people will think that there's something global in that story or in those motivations and so on.
I think that every good art is very personal, and it starts with the pain in the heart of the writer. So I think that if you should, when somebody is a writer or a creator, he thinks about a lot of ideas. So he should choose the idea that is most dear to him, most painful, that he can sell in the US. So yes, really. So you won't do it,
Commercial pain.
Yeah, no. You have to choose. You have to choose the right ideas. It's the same with commercial. If you want to meet success, you should think of a lot of ideas and choose the one that you like the most, but other people would like too. It's not doing things that other people would not watch. It's very painful. So you'll have another pain. So. Can I say something?
You can say anything you want to.
This is a thing that Karni brought, but she wants me to.
That's right.
This is the Israeli newspaper of yesterday.
2 days ago. Yesterday, right.
And this guy is the son of the Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu. And this girl, she's his girlfriend, and she's Norwegian.
Yeah, and it's a very important
and everybody's talking about it in Israel. We want to know everything about her.
So you are undercover Mossad agents here.
Olga Van Vushel, what's the name?
Sandra something?
No. She was born in Grimstad. Anybody here from Grimstad? And knows Leikanger? That's her name, Leikanger? It's probably
Leikanger.
Leikanger? Oh, yeah. How did you say that?
Leikanger.
Oh, this is so
Maybe
sexy.
he
Can you
knows
say
her.
it again? no matter, no question. And she's very beautiful.
Yes.
And is she a spy?
We don't have spies.
You don't have spies?
That's why we
No, you
don't have
only-
the same success
But we
as Israel.
found that you have shelters in Norway.
Yes, but the soldiers in Norway, they always come to save the peace,
Right,
so
in
they have no
Israel.
guns. It's very funny. They just run away when they shoot.
Yeah, but speaking about that, the political climate in
No.
Israel.
Really, you want to speak about the political climate?
But
me
how
and
does it
Karni, we are really we're in favor of peace. We want to make peace.
Yeah?
Yes, if you have a peace
But
process.
he wants to ask if you write about it in your series or in your
does
movies.
I mean, like a series like Prisoners of War, Hatufim,
I
of course
think-
resonates in.
I think living in Israel, there is no other possibility but to treat something from the politic issue. You live in this country. But most of TV do not directly it's not a main issue in Israeli TV. It's more an issue in Israeli film industry, I think. But because most of the TV or dramas and comedies are from commercial broadcasters, and we need the rating, and most of the people, after watching for about 4 or 5 hours of news in kind of ways in the Israeli television, from about 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, there are a lot of news shows in Israel. I think in 9:30, they don't want to hear about the politics situation, our army, will we have peace or not? But I think it's part of our drama and comedy all the time. It's there.
But usually the Israeli movies are being sponsored by government's money. We have film funds. So they are not obliged to commercial constraints. They can do whatever they want. And most of the industry is, of course, left-wing and are very critical of the situation and critical about Israel. So they make a lot of left-wing movies that nobody sees because the audience doesn't want to see. Because I really believe that people are, in their nature, are kids. You know, everybody here is a kid. That we want to be, when we hear a story, we want to be taken off to another world to hear about Superman. That's the best stories, that they take you. Even The Sopranos, it's like, let's see a legend about this guy who is very powerful. He can kill people and nobody touches him. And you want to see those stories that takes you out of your world. And there's nothing, it's a very difficult to do that in a political story. Because political stories are bound to the ground, to reality. And reality is depressing, you know, and it's like, we would start drinking like you.
We have another clip here, one of the biggest successes, a clip of Homeland and How to Film.
Did you find DVD? Let's see.
Let's look at the clip.
Allahu Akbar.
The actor is a comedian in Israel.
Yeah, that's
very
right.
funny,
And a
a
very
very
good
famous
actor.
comedian. He's a friend of mine also. And if you, I think Gidi, the creator of the Israeli show, is a great director. He studied in the U.S. In his nature, he's a little bit American, and he brought the American production values to the Israeli television, and he did a big breakthrough for us.
Yeah, but still our series was about less than 1 million shekels per episode, and I think Homeland is more than 3 million shekels.
Because
$3 million per episode.
Sorry, the HBO lady, the Americans, they spend money a lot on bullshit. You know, everybody has a caravan and they live next by. It's bullshit. It's with Showtime. Oh. So they also everybody's there drug abuse.
But
they
in
buy
HBO
coke
it doesn't happen.
In HBO, no, they don't spend money there. They
No, the money
cheap.
they spend is
But
smart
how
money.
important is it to have, we call it like a flagship series, like Homeland for the TV
I think it opens
industry?
the door, you know.
Yeah.
I think that In Treatment and Homeland were great success, and they opened the door for the Israeli industry. We owe these two shows what is happening in the last 2 years.
But
in the Israeli
it can happen
industry.
here also. A couple of things happened in the Israeli market. First of all, we copied the Danish law of cinema. We have also the film funds that we have invested a lot of money in the industry. So DPs, directors, and writers and actors had the chance to make a lot of movies and to practice their craftsmanship and make become a good industry. This is one thing that happened. The second thing is that we make our broadcasters, by law, to invest a lot of money in the local productions. Also, the cables has to invest 8% out of their incomes in local productions. And also, all the commercial channels has to invest this money. So the industry is very, we work a lot. We do a lot of things. When you do a lot, some of the stuff would be good. This is a matter of, and I think that the main thing is, although you have to sell it around the world, I think you, as Norwegian people, you should do the shows that are about you, about somebody in the snow. I know you're stuck in the snow, everybody, with problems, your problems, you know, you have a lot of problems, you should deal with them. And
Drink in the snow, basically.
Yes, that's a show. I can see that
that's a
happening.
format.
Drinking in the snow, everybody would love it, and you have
Two
to...
people, In the snow.
No, everybody dancing
Well,
in
that
the
is
snow.
basically Fargo. But
No, in Fargo they kill each other because they're American. Everybody is a serial killer. And they don't understand why. You know, in America, you're not allowed to say fuck on television. But in every show they cut somebody's head. And children watch it, but they don't swear. You know, if the kid would watch somebody's cutting his head, they say, fuck, mom. No, don't say fuck. Watch it and don't say fuck. And everybody's a serial killer and don't understand that. Then they sell guns. You know, everybody can buy a gun. You know, give me milk and 2 guns and they go away. And somebody's shooting everybody and they don't understand why. This is a very strange, interesting country. Would you allow me to say another bad thing about you? Thanks. 2 things. The food is bad. No, I'm just kidding. And also, they like formats in a very strange way. You know the show CSI? It's about forensic that try to solve a case.
And killers.
You have CSI New York. It started, and it was a big success. And then somebody said, I have an idea for another show.
No, they started in Vegas, I think.
Oh,
Vegas.
So they started, and they say, I have an idea. Let's do CSI in New York. And it's the same show. It's the same show, the same idea. And then they did a pilot to see if it works. Although it's the same show.
But it worked, and now they're doing New Orleans, right?
Of course not. Of course not. That would be too easy. They have to spend money, so they have to build New York in Vegas. They shoot the New York show in Vegas and the Vegas show in New York just to spend the money. So I know it would be logical and normal, and they think and they buy caravans and they drive them from side to side just to spend the money, to burn oil. Everything that they can do to burn oil to make the global warming.
It sounds like a fun industry.
Yes,
but
are you looking please buy me HBO.
Are you looking forward to working with the American industry with your remake of Hunting Elephants?
I'm working with them all the time. I think it's very good to work with the American industry.
What's the biggest challenge working with the American industry coming from a local market?
The desserts. In the restaurants, the desserts in LA, if you ask for a tiramisu, if you in an Italian restaurant, you will get something like that. In the US, everything is too big. The 2 waiters will bring you a tiramisu, like a big ball of tiramisu.
And now the
and people are eating it and are having a heart attack in the restaurant. You know, they're like dying, and I'll sue you, and they'll bring him another tiramisu.
I think.
But it's very cool to work with them because they're very smart, and everybody is fighting to be there. You know, they're not lame. They are not like they give you an answer immediately. The minute
we
you
had
go.
some failures in the States. We have to remember that we have 2 very successful comedies in Israel. One is called Traffic Light. The other one was called Mother's Day. They were a huge success in Israel, and they moved to USA. One had 1 season, an awful season, and it failed, and they didn't order another one.
Why did it fail?
Because they change it.
Because they change it. Because I think what we learned from that we need to be very specific of what the show is about. And if
so sell it with restrictions then.
Not just take our scripts and translate them. I don't think that's the right way, because as we saw in Homeland, they did great. They just took the core of the idea and made a great show. But I think in these 2 series that we failed in, they didn't understand what is funny, and they were afraid, I think, to dare, because in Israel, I think part of the comedies are more daring than the Americans one, especially not the ones that are on HBO, but on the networks. And I think we let them take our series and not concentrate on what is really, really important in these shows. And they did.
I think I want to add, I think Karni is very right, but I want to add 2 things to that.
Thank you.
I wanted to say that from the beginning of this session
send
that
it
you're
in the
saying
beginning
only
and
smart
the end.
things, only smart things.
Okay.
And so
He needs me one day.
yes, I want to work
I will
with
do
her.
another
The
show
HBO
with
guy, and you too. They're the smartest people in the room. All the rest.
Invest
Are
in
you
the
important?
right
Because
woman.
I want to curse you. So 2 things can go wrong. First of all, when you sell a format, they have to find a showrunner. A showrunner is the guy in the US that will rewrite the show and run it. It's very difficult to find a showrunner for a format, because usually if somebody is very talented, he would write his own show. So you have to find a guy that he is very talented
But yet he wants our
he
show.
hasn't got a good idea, or he doesn't want to do his own ideas, or he loves the idea so much that he wants to take it. What happened with Traffic Light, because Adir, the creator, is a friend of mine, he's also a comedian, he wrote very well funny, crafted, funny scripts. They were very funny. And the guy from the US, he took the pilot and he copied his pilot, and then they picked up the show. And then he wrote totally different things because
Characters,
he wanted,
totally different
he wanted
stories.
to express his artistic view. And he didn't have the talent that Adir had, and he didn't have the luck that Adir had, so the show failed.
And on the other hand, it's a great success in Russia because they took
And
the
copied
same
it.
characters and copied the
And
the
another
script.
thing that is very difficult in the American market is that America now is under a regime of PC. Everything has to be politically correct. All the world is influenced with that, even Israel, and it's it's like a disease. But so when they try to take your shows, they put things inside that are not relevant sometimes, like they make some of the characters black or Chinese, and so you look and why is this guy Chinese? You know, it's an Italian family, one of the brothers is Chinese, nobody understands why, but we had to do it, and the mother is black, and how come she has a Chinese son? What is wrong with this family? So they have all those kind of things they're doing. When they tried to develop my show, the Mafia show, the Mafia series, this guy made the girlfriend black, and I asked him why, and he said, my girlfriend is black. And he said, it's not about you, man. Why are you making her black? It's a different story. It's about a guy who has an African-American girlfriend, and now it's about that. It's not about, but they try to make it as if it's, everything is okay.
Correct.
Everybody's handicapped and it's okay. We won't talk
But
about
how-
that.
how-
But
how
if
do
he's
you work-
handicapped, it's an issue for him. He can't walk. It's not let's walk. No, I can't. I'm handicapped. So it's a bad thing. But then no, handicaps can be doctors. No, they can't go to cut the guys. They can't stand to do the operation. It's a thing with. I'm sorry. I'm talking to. I drank yesterday and.
Yeah.
Drink a little bit.
Oh, you're giving me water. Sorry.
We're going to have a little look at another clip, a news series that was picked up recently.
It's an Israeli series. In Israel, it was called Gorodin Stel. It's about a family of immigrants from Russia that moved about 20 years ago to Israel. And we understand in the first episode that there were a secret cell spying for Russia, but for a lot of years they were a silent cell. And one day, when the series begins, they get a knock on their door, and that man wants to recruit them again because their son is a very highly soldier in the Israeli army. And NBC just announced 2 days ago that they picked the pilot, and we're going to
It's a great idea. It
series.
was a good show, and it's a very good show.
Yeah.
I think, before you show the clip, I think that what you can learn from that is that if you have a great one-liner, it would help. And this one-liner that this guy discovered that his parents are spies.
Are spies, yeah.
It's a great one-liner. If you
In the
discovered your parents,
It's
in
an
the
easy
Israeli
pitch.
series,
Yeah.
it took 6 episodes. In the American series, I saw the pilot.
The second-
Of course, no, in the end of the first episode, he finds that his parents are.
this is the pilot system.
yeah.
They have to do it like that.
And,
That's logical.
And it's going to a series in NBC. We're
Let's
very
have a look
proud.
at it.
Yeah. Take the main issue. Will you be loyal to your family or to your country? And they will make an American series from it.
There's another thing. I think if we can give you our humble advice, there is something about of this wave of Israeli shows that is connected to the people in Israel. 2 things. First of all, there's this one guy, Avinir, who is the head of
boss.
Keshet, who did a lot of the job. He went to the America. He got a lot of connections, and he's very aggressive in a good way in selling the shows and pushing his stuff all around. Look at the way they do the clips are very good, are very professional in my eyes. This is one thing, and there's a basic thing about the Israelis, I think it's about Jews in general, is that we have these things called chutzpah. chutzpah is like, doing things without caring about what other people would think.
Yeah, when someone is closing a door, you will come in from the
And
window.
you just put yourself, and you are focusing on selling your stuff, no matter what they think about you. When I went to the U.S. The first time to sell my stuff, I went alone. I didn't have anybody. I took a bag, put those DVDs that they have.
Mm-hmm. They have DVD players over
the means to play them. And I went there, and I went to meet them, and my name is Reshef Levi, and I know for you it's not that difficult thing to say. When I was young, my father told me that Reshef is a very good name because it would be very easy for foreigners to pronounce it. And then I went to America, and they were like, Rashid, Rahal, Rahid. They weren't able to say my name totally. Whenever I came to a meeting, a nice assistant would go, how should I pronounce your name? Rahal, Rahil. Now, everybody in America are dyeing their hair. I see that here it's not, I have a gray hair. And I was working.
Nice.
Yeah, no. Don't kid yourself. No. No, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to be old. What do you want? To be like what?
Old and
wrinkles?
wise.
Stick
no,
to the story.
No,
Stick to the
old and
story.
senile. Karni, thank you.
Everybody's dyeing their hair.
So, and I was working with a couple who wrote for The Sopranos. He was 60-something, I was 30-something, and he was dyeing his hair, and he was like doing all, it was a woman and a man. The woman did all those operations. She was very, she can't fart because everything would explode because of, and he was like, I look like his father. He looked like Bart Simpson. I don't know, he has a lot of hair. And we went there, and I looked like someone from Albania. I hope nobody's here from Albania. I heard so many
Reshef.
minorities. Okay, I don't know how I don't know why I said Albania, but I look like Albania. I was with my gray hair, and I looked like a serial killer. What is your name, Rashid? Come on, get inside. And everybody was repulsed. But still, I told them it's the best, so you have to buy it. It's going to be a big success. I sat there and I lied. I said, in Israel, everybody watched it. Nobody watched it yet. And I was like pushing it so hard to sell it, and I think this is a thing that you have to have in order to sell something. You have to push it very hard and to be aggressive about it, and that's it. Hasn't I have nothing else to say about that. So you look at me. There is nothing happened in the story.
No punchline?
No punchline. No.
We're running out
Bart
of...
Simpson was a good guy.
That was good.
Yeah.
We're running out of time here. Just,
Really? Why? Who talked?
Every every show lasts for 42 minutes in the States.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's right. Not in Israel.
Hmm?
Not in Israel.
How long are the shows? Like one hour?
Depends.
Yeah.
Depends. We have comedies of 25. We have comedies of 35. We have dramas of 40. We have dramas of 50. We don't really
and the
have
truth-
the same fragments
And the
that they
truth
have
is much
in
more
America.
horrible that you can have a show that one day, one episode would be
That's right.
30 minutes and next week it would be 35,
Yeah.
38. We don't have rules. It's
We
like
don't have methods.
whatever I want, the creator. We ran out of videotapes, so it's a short show today.
Yeah.
One final question for you, Karni. Where do you see Israeli TV business? Which direction do you see it going in now with the global success commercially?
I think it's a very challenging time now to work in TV in Israel.
Why is
I
that?
think we're still going to look for Israeli stories that will work for us, but it's a good time for us to look for some other models and to find our way for co-productions with Europe or American co-productions, and stories that will come, American stories that will find their way to shoot in Israel because it's much more cheap, of course. And I think we'll have to find a way, but always the story and the writer's, what he wants to say is the main important thing, because people are less watching now in prime time with commercials and so on. We have to fight that. And not like an HBO that it's good for them if people are watching in their iPads. We need people to come at 9:30 every evening to see our shows and see some of the commercials. And I think we will look for stories that you will have to see tonight, and you can't wait to see it on your VOD or on your computer, and you will want to talk with other people in the minute that you will finish looking at that series.
I think that the industry is going to be more and more global. I think that the LA as the base of money might continue to be the center, but shows would be written and would be filmed all around the world. And I think that most of the shows would be in English. That's the direction that the world is going to, and it will happen as faster than you think, because I think that the new generation is used to watching, to see English shows all around the world, and I think international co-productions and corporations that are doing all around stuff, it's the future. I myself, I'm trying to, my next show is in English and it's totally international. I'm not thinking.
And it's brilliant.
No, not yet. I'm working on it. No,
But-
only after you. I'm not. You know, you have to be humble when you
But
write.
but
Yeah, I
another
hope it
thing-
won't be shit.
But I saw The Bridge, the Swedish-Danish version, 2 seasons, and I saw the Bergens. And when I started, I thought, how can I see a series that most of the time, or all the time, I think, in the Bergen, she's speaking English in the 2nd season, I think, but most of the time they're speaking an awful language, not like Hebrew. And I think in the 2nd episode, I didn't even remember that they're speaking a foreign language that I don't know at all, because the story really worked for us. So I think that's it's still the main business, a good story.
Someone is waving at me over
Yeah.
there, telling me to quit.
Okay.
Yeah. We can
Running out of
continue.
time.
We can go to my hotel.
Let's go to a
And
bar
see
and
your
drink.
DVDs.
They gave me the suite, the biggest suite.
Do you have a DVD in your suite?
No, but I didn't find a bed. It's big rooms. So if you want to come-
Everybody's invited to Reshef's room later. Thank you to Reshef Levi
Thank you
and
very
Karni.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.